Apple sold more than 13 million new iPhones over the weekend. Angelo Zino, analyst at S&P Capital IQ, joins me. Angelo, it was a record in terms of sales. What do those weekend numbers mean in the way that you're looking at Apple for your own forecasts?
Well, we were looking for about 12 million units to be shipped here on the opening weekend, and we got 13 million. So overall, we view the initial sales here as a positive for the company. All that being said, the naysayers will say that you're not really looking at this on an apples-to-apples basis, that being last year's numbers at 10 million because this year now includes China. But that being said, I think overall you have to look at the initial weekend sales here as a notable positive for the company.
So do you think this momentum continues as Apple rolls out the new iPhones in a number of other countries next week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to your point, we're going to get 40 more regions on October 9th coming out. And our expectation here is specifically out in China, we do think that demand is going to remain robust. I think something else you have to take into account is how do those new leasing programs that were announced here over the last couple of weeks, not only by Apple, but by some of the large wireless companies like T-Mobile, Sprint. How do they perform here? And we think overall those are all going to be positives for the company and overall demand.
Do you anticipate any supply constraints at all as Apple continues its rollout?
Well, we expect, typical to what we've seen in prior launches is supply constraints are going to be there for the company. We think the company could have probably done much better than the 13 million units that we saw here in the initial weekend. So over the next couple of weeks, we do expect supply constraints to remain. However, as we start progressing through that December quarter, it will of course start to alleviate.
What are your projections for that December quarter, and would you raise your own expectations at all based on this past weekend?
Yeah, so our expectation right now is 76 million units for the December quarter. The big debate on the street is, can they surpass the numbers that they saw last year? Last year we were looking at 74.5 million units. So our response is yes, they will beat the numbers for the December quarter. A lot of that has to do to the fact that we're launching the iPhone 6s late in the September quarter, so that'll boost December quarter demand. But overall, we do expect a good December quarter. And for the time being, we are looking at 76 million units. We do think there's a good probability that they could likely exceed those numbers given what we've seen here in the initial weekend.
So you've got a strong buy on Apple stock, a target price of 150. Apple has not recovered from the 130 peak that it hit just a couple weeks ago in July. I'm going to guess this is more of a story what's happening with the overall market, though?
Yeah, I mean, we think so. We think there were also concerns about growth numbers for Apple in fiscal year 2016, and rightfully so to an extent, just given the strong super cycle we saw from the iPhone 6. But that being said, we upgraded the stock about 2 weeks ago. We actually saw the recent pullback as an opportunity for long-term shareholders to get into the name. Not that being said, as you kind of progress here over the next 2 to 3 quarters, the outlook is going to be more focused on the iPhone 7, potential new product ramps in the coming year. So the near-term uncertainty about growth we think will start to alleviate over the next couple of months. So our view is this is a great opportunity for investors to buy.
Angelo Zino, good to see you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Street.